everyone, and thank you very much for being here with us. And thank you to Women's Forum for inviting us to this talk. My name is Deborah Kans-Ribert. I am a publisher, and also I'm working with Sarah Barukh, who I'm going to introduce to you, on her organization called 125 and After. So first, let me say to you that it's a great honor for me to introduce you, Sarah Barukh. I've known Sarah for more than 15 years now, and she has always been a great inspiration to me. Sarah has always been involved in different organizations which were very important to her. And after major situation that she has been living through in her life, 4 years ago, she decided to write a book called 125 and Thousands, en français 125 et des milliers, which was published by HarperCollins. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, everyone, and thank you to host us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
I'm really delighted to get to talk to you and tell you our story, because it's no longer my story now, it's our story.
Okay, so could you tell us a little bit more about the book and how you were drawn to write it?
Of course. A little more than 3 years ago, the confinement just ended, and part of my life too. I was 41, and I had been undergoing domestic violence for 10 years. I ran away one night with my 16-month-old baby. It was just after another argument with her father. I was too exhausted and too afraid and too desperate, and I just ran away. I came back to my parents' home, living in my childhood bedroom with my own baby, which was really strange because I felt I was nothing. I had nothing. I just left with my computer and my baby. I didn't even have clothes. I had been wearing my mother's clothes for a few months. And I was ashamed, really ashamed, because I thought I had been given all the possibilities to avoid such situation. I graduated from a top-ranked business school. I was raised by a doctor and a teacher with a lot of love in our home and good values. However, I was there. I had to reply to the police, to the social organization, and so on. I felt like I was the character of a bad movie. And I tried to understand what happened to me and how I could have been able to accept this daily amount of violence. I tried to read, to search on the internet, to find some explanation and understand who were the women who end up dying from their beloved violence. But all I could find were horrible press releases, which classified as incidents or terrible facts what happened to those women. All I could find was some figures and statistics, because in France, NGOs classify feminicides by the number of feminicides every day or every 2 days. We say in France it's 1 in 2.5 days, actually. So you can find on the NGOs communications, well, now we are about 82 feminicide, and 3 days after, wow, it rose to 84, etc., etc. Only figures, no information about the woman.
Because press in France forbids the press to communicate. We are not supposed to, a reader is not supposed to be able to find the person and to understand who that person is in order to protect the families.
Exactly. So we hardly even get the name of the dead woman. We have no information about who she was, what she used to like, well, what was her job, and all the information that enables identification and prevention, because no one can identify to the way someone died. You can identify to someone's tastes, you can identify to someone's ambition, you can identify to someone's story. You cannot identify to the way she died. If she received 30 knives assaults, or if she was thrown in a lake, no one can identify that. So I realized that if I had died, it would have been a double sorrow and a double shock for my mother and my whole family to think that I was just a figure to society, that no one would remember the person I had been, but only the statistics. So I decided to do something as a writer, because I already was a writer before this book, to tell who were the women behind the figures. So in France, the official figures acknowledges that 125 women die from feminicide officially per year. And I decided to give a human description to these facts, and also began my incredible journey. It was almost 4 years ago, and it took me almost 3 years of my inquiry to find families that had lost a mother, a daughter, a sister, and to ask them who they were. Really simple question. What was her dream when she was a child? What was her favorite food? What was her favorite song? And all these questions that only people that love you can answer. I recorded all those interviews, and I sent all my audios to French personalities, 125, that I asked for being to represent actually those dead women. So I wrote my story, and all those 125 personalities, including Deborah, wrote a story about a dead woman. And I also interviewed experts. So this book, I think it's all the person included in 1 year of feminicide and violence against women. And it's a very special book because it's a very personal book, and also a book written by 1,000 hands.
Yes, exactly. And a beautiful book. So what is the situation now all over the world about the figures and the numbers?
Currently, 1 woman out of 3 is touched by domestic violence, and this violence, they're killed by their intimate partners or other family members. It means that 5 women or girls are killed every hour by someone in their own family. These are the UN official figures. 56% of all female homicides are committed by intimate partners or other family members. So it means that it's the same for feminicide than rape. It's most of the time inside the family or by someone that have been important to you. Concerning feminicide, it's generally your partner or your former partner. In France, but it's almost the same everywhere, 60% of the women who are killed by their partner never had been physically touched before. It means that the common point is psychological violence. And we keep on representing violence by by physical violence, sorry. But we will come back to this point later. What I wanted to, so it's every 11, that's it. Actually, these are the main figures I wanted to tell you.
And so what analysis did you draw from all these stories and all the, to come back to the book, what analysis do you have? Is there a specific type of women who are more likely to undergo domestic violence, or? Completely.
But first of all, I'd like to tell that I verified that it's not a question of social position, neither of geographical position. It really concerns every woman in the world, from the poorest to the richest. Because violence only intrudes into our narcissistic flows. Sorry, actually, it's a problem of self-esteem. The only women that are concerned are the women who present a lack of self-esteem. So trying to come up with rational response to it doesn't work, because the problem is emotional. All the women that were described to me were only searching for true love. They were really depriving from love. They wanted to be loved at any cost. They wanted to fit in the stories they were told when they were young. And there is a chapter in the book where I talk about fairy tales, for example. If you do analyze fairy tales, you can observe that women have to wait to be saved by men to exist as women. Before that, there are misses. There are young girls. They become women the day they get married. And to get married, they have to run away from their family, and they have to be saved by a prince who has to fight dragons and also a step family. And so it's always a problem. Love is a struggle, and love is a battle you have to win. So what people also forget is that when you become the queen, and in fairy tale, when you officially become a woman, you also keep all your sisters and your mother from being a queen. So it's you against all the women around you, and it's you far from your family and friends, having to thank someone, a man, who saved you. And it's unfair, even obviously for women, but also for men, to have to endorse this role in society, to have to fight for love. We are no longer, well, we have never been searching for harmony. We have been raised to search for passion, for destructing love for a love that would erase everything else. And all the women that I was described to were in this position.
The position of having to be saved by a man, waiting to be saved by a man.
Exactly, and they had been waiting to find true love, to get married. They loved fairy tales. They loved love stories. They were looking for someone who would give their life a sense.
I understand. And what is the impact now of domestic violence on women and children?
Yeah, there are significant risk factors for depression, suicide, eating disorders, cardiovascular, immune, neurological, endocrine, gyneco-obstetrical disorders, addictive behaviors, and of course, a predisposition to experiencing further violence. Because if you already are lacking in self-esteem and you start a relationship where there is violence, it keeps on harming you, distracting you.
Mm-hmm. I understand. So to talk about the organization that you founded, 125 and after, what are the different actions that you have been creating?
When the book was published, I hoped it would work, but I wasn't expecting such impact in the media and in the civil society. I already felt I owed something to the family who trusted me. So that's the reason why I decided to reverse the benefits from the book to the UNFF, who is the main organization that helps families who lost a mother or a daughter from feminicide. But it was not enough to me. So I decided to create my own organization, a nonprofit organization, to create original solutions that I never found around me and around the person who had been touched by such drama. What we want is help women help themselves and find all the information they need around them. Because until now, you have the state, which is doing a great job, actually. It's not perfect, but it has been really improving during the last 5 years. But for example, you can only find communication about domestic violence and informations in the police station, but it's already too late. You can find some information in the headquarters of NGOs, but when you are in a relationship where there's a lot of violence, you cannot go anytime you want, anywhere you want. You have to be back home just after work, and you are not free, so you don't have any time to go in an NGO's headquarters to find some help. When you are in a relationship where there is violence, your partner can watch all the message in your telephone, all the calls you made, all your social media. So you're not free to get information. So I wanted to do things in another way. For example, I rely on the brands, on companies. I create awareness contents For example, we just released yesterday the first teaser of a video series where we showed it a woman who had undergo violence and ran away from it and are now happy, because we don't want to add some darkness to the darkness. We want to give them hope that they can survive and they can have a great life after that, because you won't leave a relationship where there is violence if you are not convinced that your life can be better, that you deserve better, and that it is possible. So we wanted to show that. So we found 10 women who accepted to tell their stories and how they're great now and how it's important to trust yourself. So this series plus information videos were started to be released yesterday. We also produced a podcast and also produced a social media campaign that were inspired by SMS text messages that text messages, that we former victims used to receive. And it's a 2-time campaign: what you receive when you are undergoing violence and what happens next when it's behind you. And all these contents, we are, of course, publishing them on our social media accounts, etc. But also, we are sending a communication kit to partner companies so that they can send it inside their major companies to their employees, but also outside to their communities. So, for example, we are addressing big companies such as Engie, such as Accor, which have thousands of employees. And if they can address them this kind of messages, then it's a win-win strategy. We also help women repair themselves and prepare themselves to leave, because feminicide always occurs when women leave. We are always making women get guilty, asking them, but why did you stay, or why do you stay? But the most dangerous period is when they leave, and when the person who thought that they were theirs realized they are no longer their possessions. So we created, for example, a really efficient tool, which is a simple test. It's a series of questions. If you only answer yes to one of them, then you are possibly in a toxic relationship. And there we give you advices to react right here, right now, and alone. You don't have to call anyone. You don't have to go somewhere else. We give you some psychological tools to help you get rid of this situation. And then different kind of solution in a chronological and acceptable way.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the test? How is it working?
Yes. First of all, it's introduced in a human way because all the tests, all the tools I found were really neutral. You felt like no one were talking to you. So this text, I wrote it, and it's also signed by the 5 members of our association that you can identify. And after that, you have 5 parties that concern the 5 types of violence. which are psychological violence, which are the most current type of violence in France. I don't have the key figures, but it's almost the same in the US, for example. In France, it's almost 27% of the women in France who have undergo psychological violence, which is as forbidden as physical violence, according to the law. So you have different types of questions that are angled for the woman. And she's not judging her aggressor. She is analyzing her behavior. For example, we ask, have you ever hesitated to or given up on reaching out to or seeing friends because you didn't want to risk making him upset or angry? Have you ever refrained from wearing certain clothes, putting on makeup, nail polish, or other visible accessories to avoid reproaches or fights? When you are not with him, do you have to tell him where you are, where you're going, with who and when you'll be back? And
these are a few examples of the
yes, these are a few examples of the questions that are asked in the chapter psychological violence, and it's very important to enable women to think of their fear and not judging their partner. Because when you are in a relationship where there is violence, you always find excuses to your partner, because aggressors are not monsters. They're among the society. They also are this way mainly because of their own past. For example, to me, my daughter's father was really mean to me. He became completely crazy if I didn't wash correctly the garbage. But when he was a child, his mother used to wash him with the Javel. So he was raised crazy. He's not a monster. He's the monster of my story, but he's not a monster. And it's the same for almost all of the aggressor. So when you are in the relationship, you're not able to see anything else than compassion for this man who underwent also violence when he was a child or later during a college or anything else. So the only thing you can assess is what you fear. If you fear to tell what you think, if you fear to wear what you want, then maybe there's a problem.
Of course. So, and what are the different, you said there's psychological, there's
also physical violence, which is most obvious, sexual violence, economical and administrative violence, and material violence. For example,
an example.
Yeah, for example, well, physical violence, of course, someone that beats you, someone that makes you fall on the floor, etc. Sexual violence, it's not only raping, it's also accepting to have a sex relationship, not to be reproached anything. Well, okay, I'll have sex tonight, because if I don't, it will be a argument and arguments and arguments, and I prefer to have sex than an argument. Okay. And if this happens 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, it's sexual violence. It's not only this, but I cannot describe everything. Economical and administrative violence is, for example, if you don't have your papers at disposal, if you cannot decide completely the way you use your own money, if you have to justify yourself for buying this or this, even if it's food for the house. And material violence is, for example, if someone does not beat you, but will break chairs just in front of you, will beat the wall where you just actually, if you can see that he has a lot of anger, that he's able to break things, and that you can imagine he could do it to you.
So what are the differences between what is usually advised and what you and us at the organization do advise at 125?
Usually, NGOs advise women to call for the police or to call for different official telephone numbers, but these are emergency solutions, and you don't get rid of a toxic relationship in an emergency solution. It's very long time. So you need to repair yourself, to struggle against this lack of self-esteem. So, for example, when you are in this kind of toxic relationship, the person in front of you will always make you think that you are crazy, that it wasn't only words, that he never said this or that, he never did this or that, or even that it's your fault. So, for example, write what you are living. You just take some notes and you read it again a week after or 2 weeks after, and you will realize that you are not crazy. You also can face yourself in the mirror and decide to be your best friend and promise yourself every morning that you trust yourself. You also can go to your company and ask for the medicine department or human resources dedicated department to talk about your situation. And for example, be able to go to the police later during the time you spend at your work for not being seen by your partner. So these are the type of advice we give just after the test, so you can start it right here, right now, alone at home, and starting to get
a new life and start something beautiful if you can, and you will be able to. So how can people help now? What kind of situation can we give to the people for them to help your organization?
One of our main objectives in our as organization is to help companies become a safe place. So we are talking to a lot of companies to make them understand that they really have an important role to play. And this is completely about CSR, because CSR projects includes society projects and includes the fight against violence and domestic violence. So you, of course, can talk about our work to your company. So maybe we can intervene. You also can get our test that does exist in French and in English, but you also can help us translate it in other languages, and also help us finding some attached with the local NGOs Because, for example, in France, we work with different kind of NGOs that helps families from of victims, etc. But we don't know all of the NGOs in the world. And of course, we need some money. So if you want to help us, even the smallest gift, it would be well, very, very
I've seen that the link will be in the story here. So if people want to make donation and give to the organization something to support your cause, it's possible. Well, thank you very much. And
if you have any question, or if you think you are concerned, we also gave our email contact. You can join us, you can talk to us if you want to try our tests, because if you're not sure that you are living something that is unacceptable and that you want to have the evidence of it, it will help you. Or if you want to send it to a friend or to a mother or to a sister, please contact us and we will help you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all of you.